hello, outside bride.
Inside.
We're inside. Do you know what? The weather, the lovely evening. Cutting the top of my head off here. I need to adjust. Sorry. Lovely evening, but just it got dark a bit sooner. I don't know what happened. 1 minute it was getting dark at like 8:40. The next minute it's dark at 8. Well, did we do last week?
We did last week outside.
Did we?
Someone commented that it was lighter here than it was where they were. But I think we were just very lucky. It was quite a bright day, but it's been raining, hasn't it? So we've had a bit of grey and cloud cover. It's really boring.
It is really boring.
Hope you're all well, everybody.
Hope you're all well.
A bit quiet this week on your group. Are you all alive?
I know, it's been all about us, like
Gary.
putting posts up about our courses. One thing I was going to say is we've had a lot of blogs go live on the website. We've had Emily's Gin blog, we've had Eco Weddings Part 2, we've had... absolutely gone blank. There was like a planning one or something like that. I can't think what it is.
Why didn't you get it on the website up?
One second, on the website. Don't talk sense. Oh, Meet the Founders. All about Emily and me with a video of me, you know, giving you all of my thoughts about myself. Anyway, the point of the matter is they haven't all been shared into the group for various reasons, so we're just kind of staggering them out, but feel free to go and check them all out.
Please do.
Excuse me, on the website, which is, what's the website address?
www.theoutsidebride.co.uk. There's a file.
Yes.
It's literally going
I don't know about you lot, but we've been absolutely bombarded by flies and wasps this summer, or the back end of this summer. It was right when it was super hot. I think nothing was coming out. But as soon as it turned into a normal British summer, we've been ridiculously attacked, haven't we? I've been stung twice this summer. Ben's been stung, our 3-year-old. Joseph nearly got stung. He had a wasp in his hand yesterday, and it turned out to be a splinter in his foot.
We've had lots of parties this weekend. A lot of people got stung over the weekend as well.
Yes, because it was my 40th. Don't like to talk about it.
It was Lily Rose's 5th, actually. That's more important.
Oh yeah, it was Lily Rose's 5th.
If anyone's seen the picture, we created a garden Arabian Nights.
When you say we, Emily created that with her mother. I mean, I was there. I barbecued for the 5-year-olds. No, I did them sausages. It did look fab. It's on the Baylily Bell Tents Instagram and Facebook page. So facebook.com/Baylily Bell Tents or Instagram.com.
Yeah, we created an Arabian Night. She wants to be shimmer and shine. If anyone knows what that is, it's genies on the podium. We created this like Bedouin Persian rugs, swags and jewels and lamps, and it was ridiculous. And next year for her 6th birthday, she gets to go to the cinema with 2 friends, and that's all we're doing, because I'm never doing that again, ever again.
Hi Dawn, you alright?
Hello Dawn, how are you? Right, so this week we are talking. What have we got? Have we got questions this week?
We have. Sorry, I absolutely zoned out. Long story short, for those of you who are new, long-time followers, first-time watchers, I have my computer. It's normally here. Today it's on my lap. It was on a high chair. Don't forget the awesome cakes. Yes, Kelly Alga from Cake Away did our amazing...
Alan had a whole hamburger cake, and Lydia Rose had this purple shimmery land. Oh, it was epic. I would like to say I would be a baker, but I can't bake, and I never will. So why do it when you can outsource it to a very good friend like Kelly? Thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly. They were shamazing. Well, no, that's not Nicole Schertzinger. That's more about Lydia Rose's Shimmer and Shine. If you don't know what Shimmer and Shine is, they are... Do you know what? Are they girl genies? I don't know. Are they girl genies?
Yes.
Is that what they are? Right, okay. Sam Lovell. I've been saying Sam Lavelle, and sorry Sam, and Emily's been telling me off. Sam says, sorry, not been watching live for a few weeks. Quiz coming, Sam. Blinking work getting in the way of planning. Yeah, work is a pain in the backside. Some advice, please. We are doing a DIY coffee station with homemade biscuits.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's... And we love the personal touch. The personal touch is fab. Would you recommend wrapping individually, or would they be okay with tongs? Thanks.
Well, that is subject to opinion.
Yeah, we had a quick chat about this, and we think it was a bit... Have you ever... I don't think I've been to a wedding with a DIY coffee station.
I've been to a couple.
Right, so I think for me, ignoring the biscuits for a moment and looking at the practicalities of coffee, it depends on how DIY. If your DIY coffee station is a couple of those push-pour things that they have, like if you're paying for it, and with a burker full of hot water to top it up, then cool. If you're going to do a DIY coffee station, which is kettles and a jar of coffee, I'm simplifying for the sake of the example, then that's very cool, but will be,
I imagine it would be like an urn.
Yeah, well, not an urn, the push things. Well, yeah, no, why an urn's. But
the question's about the biscuits, darling.
No, it is about the biscuits. Well, I felt there was a slight practical issue on one over the other.
The benefit of having wrapped ones over non-wrapped ones, I was thinking about it because I was at a wedding 2 weeks ago that had like cheesy biscuits, more savoury biscuits. If you wrap them individually or wrap them in a few bags, they keep for longer, so you can make them a few days ahead and not have to worry about them going off or getting soft and like that. So you can keep them preserved for longer. That means you've got less hecticness going on the day before as you're cooking them to order and then taking them up to the site. The benefit of that is that you obviously can control people's numbers. Not everyone's grabbing that. They can have a bag and they can go off. You are keeping flies off, keeping bugs off, that kind of stuff. They may sweat if you're in a tent. I'm not sure exactly what time of year you're getting married and what time, like, temperatures you're in.
Yeah, it should be alright at home with a biscuit in a bag.
On the flip side, you are creating a lot of waste because people are going to eat those biscuits and throw the waste out. And obviously we've done a few posts.
Even paper bags.
We've done a few posts recently about eco-friendly weddings and trying to be a bit greener. And if you have 100 guests and you're doing 100 like little sets of biscuits and then they eat those biscuits and then throw the wrappers, that's quite a lot of waste you're creating for no reason. When you could just get a basket full done, make them up, put a net over it, and let them use tongs. So it's completely up to you and why you want to individually wrap them. There's no wrong answer really. But I would say benefits would be keeping them fresh and keeping people's fingers off them and making it a bit more hygienic. The other side would be don't create so much waste and they might sweat.
See, if you ignore the waste part and actually go for the wrapping part, I almost thought about it being a secondary wedding favour.
Yeah.
So if you are doing wedding favours on the table, fab. But if not, then perhaps your caterers or ushers or whoever, ushers are never going to do anything, are they? But your people who you've got helping you out could actually deliver them out before teas and coffees with a little note or something. I thought there was a way of making it quite nice. I actually quite like the laid out. I almost like the whole WI aspect. Women's Institute going to. Look, hold on. Not everyone may know what WI is.
Does it show that we're all a little bit tired?
No. There's only 3 people watching right live, so who doesn't? If you did not know what WI was, can you give us a thumbs up, please? If you did not know.
And Gary, if you're watching and you do it, you just do it for the sake of it, so don't press the button.
So I quite like the whole idea. And we went to a wedding once where rather than a wedding cake, they asked everyone to bring a cake and then had a cake competition. So there's always the chance of going, bring your biscuits and things like that. And people could, bring biscuits for you. And if you don't want to cook them all, no one's put a thumbs up. I guess they're on your side. But I quite like the idea of where doing DIY biscuits could take you. What are you laughing at?
Know if they needed to be wrapped or not.
No, they didn't. Would you recommend wrapping individually, or would they be okay with tongs?
So you just need to know about people bringing their own biscuits.
Well, no, but I was elaborating with, with an opinion at the end
fair
of the
enough.
day.
Right, second question.
Kay says, we know Kay, she runs a
pizza
company, Slinky Fox. Can we talk about wedding signs? I've attended a lot that are beautifully put together, wooden stakes with chalk writing. Problem is you can't see them. Just a thought.
Right. What's the question?
Well, the question is the question is that there's not a question, it's more of a discussion point of these homemade signs are fab in an outdoor wedding environment, but when you're using chalk paint on like a palette board, you can't actually see it until you're standing in front of it.
So the reason you're putting a sign up, I suppose, is it's there for a purpose, especially if you're trying to direct people on a blank canvas type place where your toilets, where you're parking parking's a big one actually. You want that to be a very visible sign. Again, wedding we went to 2 weeks ago, Sylvie's wedding. About half an hour before the ceremony, I had to go and shout at people to move about 14, 15 cars because they hadn't seen the big bunting area where the cars were going. They were parking right next to the ceremony, and I was like, no, move your cars, because they hadn't seen it. So there needed to be a big car park sign in an obvious place so people could direct. The ultimate reason you're putting signs up is to direct people to that thing that they're doing. So they need to be big, they need to be bold. And I suppose the chalk paint element to it is that they're great, and especially if you're doing lovely like calligraphed, lettered.
Calligraphied.
Yeah. What's the plural? Or the
Calligraphied.
Calligraphed.
Calligraph.
Lettered, hand lettered words.
Well, it won't be plural, will it?
No.
It'll be past tense.
If you're doing hand lettered words, making sure that the font you're using is legible. But also, if you're using chalk paint, making sure it's bright white rather than using like the pastely kind of like light blues and lemons and that kind of stuff, because it doesn't always show up against the palette wood as much. But also, the thing to it is chalk is exactly that, is chalk. And if you are wet weather,
the past verb tense of calligraphy is calligraphed. You were right. Go.
English degree. God. Can we just start today?
On other news, we will come back to this. I'm jumping out of an aeroplane tomorrow morning. First of my 40th celebrations. Tomorrow morning.
First of your 40th celebrations. So that massive party we had on your birthday.
Second of my 40th celebrations. I'm jumping out of an aeroplane tomorrow. Absolutely scared. Been putting it off for years. Don't like the idea of dying, if I'm honest. And so yeah, off to jump. Nothing is me.
Okay. So. Chalk is just that. It's chalk paint. Yeah. So if you have any wet weather, chalk paint will... There was another wedding, the one in Andover last month, and they left their table setting outside on an easel, and the rain came... This is the day before the wedding, so they had time to sort it out. But the rain came down, and it all went down, and her little face was like, but I spent hours making this. So making sure that if you're using, maybe use more of a permanent pen that has the kind of same effect as chalk.
Well, I'm like, I go, Dawn's put decorate the signs too. Dawn, that's a really good suggestion, making them look pretty, because ultimately they're part of your theme in your village. And I saw a really good, probably the best palette sign I'd ever seen. So rather than taking the palette wood off, and this is not new, Wish Your Way, but it was just further. Are you finishing my sentence?
It's so done.
You can tell we're married.
So done.
What's done?
Everyone does a palette.
No, it wasn't. It was just the palette leant against a wood with like toilets right. I'd never seen it in the flesh before.
All right.
Shut up. We don't say shut up in our family, actually, so I apologise. It's on the ban list.
But yeah, I do love the use of palette wood, but...
Definitely, Gary.
Obviously said I can't
Never mind, just keep going.
Making sure that they're visible, making sure that they're there for a purpose. If you're putting signs out, things like... The important things you need to sign are car parking, toilets, bar, smoking area, if there's a smoking area being designated, ceremony area... dancing, camping if you're going
smoking area.
I just said smoking area literally 30 seconds ago.
It is one of those. It hasn't been one of those days, but it does seem to have become one of those nights. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what Kay was asking about. But,
I think she basically said, if you're going to do signs,
do them properly.
Smash some big black paint all over it so people can actually read it.
Or rather than using palette wood and stuff like that, use slate or blackboard type stuff, because that will show up a bit better than on wood. But I do like the rustic effect of palette wood.
I do really like. What was the Spanish themed wedding? Didn't they do something new on our blog?
For our wedding, because we were in Swanage, we had all of the various signposting ones, but we also had a really cool cross post type one, and it had Corfe Castle and X amount of miles that way, and Isle of Wight, and it had the distance to the Isle of Wight. I can't speak. The Isle of Wight the other way, which was quite cool as well.
Right, I think Katie and Richard's Spanish Fiesta wedding on our blog, looking now, had something a bit cool I'd never seen before. Keep talking, please. It's not cool if we both look.
Okay.
What other signs have we seen that we really like? I mean, you can go to B&Q and get some whatever. Oh no, they did the table plan. No, what's that? That's confetti on a pallet. Actually, that looks really nice. They put the confetti bags on a pallet. It looks very nice, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's really, it is open for interpretation.
Be bold with them as well, because again, what Kay was suggesting is you need to be able to read them. If you're doing really, really tiny lettering that's really pretty and dainty, you're going to have to be like that close to it before you even read it, and they get missed. And especially when you've got like a field and a massive space, you do want to fill that space with stuff, but less is more with stuff. But if you have something really small and really very subtle, it will get lost in everything. So make sure that if you're going to do something, do it a big statement piece. Like Becky and Mark's wedding we went to, when we drove up into the driveway, and they had an open-sided barn, and they
it was huge.
It was literally like the height of our house, wasn't it?
Yes.
Pretty much. They had almost like a big sheet, like a bit of muslin cloth, like massive sheets.
I have no idea where they got it from and how they did it.
But it was welcome to the best day ever. Like
interesting story. It was one of those things like proper middle of nowhere, and you get given a postcode. So we're driving van and trailer. It was up in the Cotswolds, and the postcode took us like over there, about 2 miles away. It was that sort of random distances. So I then had to 3-point turn with the van and the trailer, drive back, and we're like, there's a farm over there.
No, it's eat, drink and be married.
So we drove up and saw and said, oh, that'll be the wedding there.
And you see, it was literally the side of the barn. It was amazing, but we definitely knew where it was when we got there.
Yeah, pop that picture in the outside ride, actually, if you can.
I will do. I'll do that, yeah.
Right, I think that's it. I mean, if you've got any other questions, guys, then feel free to ask them.
It feels really strange being inside for this. I think that's we've lost our kind of magic because we're inside and my brain's not working. Maybe we're destined to be outside.
Well, I quite like to. I find being outside inspiring. I mean, I like the outside.
So we'll be here in the dead of winter with the festoon lights behind us next time, and
we could do that. We do need to do another practical session like the table one we've done and other things.
That's a good one, actually. If anyone's got any. If anyone saw that particular episode we did, it was a tablescape, and we worked out place settings and what kind of sizes and scale you got of your table. If anyone wants a practical demonstration of something else, maybe it could be about signage, it could be about table centres, it could be about marquee layout and how to work out.
You know what I keep meaning to do? I keep meaning to do a full-on whiteboard, like how to lay out your area type thing, and principles of laying out your area. What's Gary just put? There's an app called What 3 Words. It pinpoints exact locations. Oh, is that for finding places that I presume? Yeah, we get. Also, the other thing is sat-navs used to ask for more than just the postcode, but I got TomTom on my phone and it just wants the postcode. And I mean, even where we live, the postcode is 3/4 of a mile away. Boring story. My 40th birthday.
You turned 40. Did you know? You turned 40
invited a friend I hadn't seen since school, and we saw recently at reunion. Gave him the postcode. He parked 20 metres that way, then walked past the house, following his sat-nav to the postcode, which then took him 3/4 of a mile that way down a main road with his 2 young children.
That is actually, yeah.
And then had to turn round and come all the way back and realised it was 20 metres past where he parked, bless him.
That's a very good point to talk about, though, is if your venue is in somewhere a little bit obscure or in the middle of absolutely nowhere. I did a site visit last month and had no idea where I was, and we often work at a venue on Hayling Island. That is an obscure one as well. The more signs you put up, the better when it comes to direction of signs. If you have the ability to put stuff on the road, fantastic. If you
or a flag, a flag or something.
If you're going on like just a postcode because you've got just a field and you haven't got a fixed address, things like massive flags on the road, or like I said, that massive sign I showed you is really good because people can see it and they know it. Otherwise, they might have a mile to go before they can turn around like your friend did. But the Hayling Island venue, as an example, is a really good one because you go through the postcode into a gate and you get to a golf course and you think, oh, I'm here, and there's a car park and you're not there. So then you go straight a little bit and you think, oh, there's a house there, maybe it's that, and it's not. and then you go through a yard, and then it's not the yard, and then there's
a farm, isn't it?
2 or 3 tracks you could pick, and then you literally go for another mile and a half. Same as tree runners as well.
Well, we did
literally. You go through a mile and a half.
It was a 15-minute drive from the postcode,
and it can be quite disconcerting, especially if it's evening guests as well. Like, am I on the right track? Am I going to literally go and get mugged in a forest because I know where I'm going? Or what can you do? So think about marker points along, like you're nearly there, really close, best day, and just put that along.
You know what? Friends of ours. Now, I think this is very clever. We went to a wedding, invited to bring a cake as a DIY dessert. It turned into a competition. The being even brought. Yeah, Dawn, we've been to a wedding like that actually, and just in case it was the same one, because I think you are Hampshire based. I saw. It was the Brimlow wedding at Pinsent Campsite. So if it was that wedding, put a thumbs up, because we were there as well.
There are lots of...
No, Dawn here went to... Dawn, I'm sorry, I'm hovering over you, and it's saying you went to college at Peter Simmons, which was obviously in Winchester, and the wedding we went to was in Winchester.
Okay.
Right.
So
I was. What was I doing? Oh, right. We had a wedding with friends where, as we walked out of the church, this was brilliant. They gave us a CD. Now you then put the CD in, and the CD was timed perfectly for the drive from the church to the reception, even giving you directions based on the speed limit. So they had songs that they then talked over and said, "You're now approaching Tesco's roundabout." It was almost
like going on a guided tour.
It was
if
brilliant.
You look to your right, you will see. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like,
this is
don't tell them that it was brilliant. No, it was brilliant. Happily tell
but
them.
Also, if there'd been any kind of traffic delays, it would have all just gone up the spout. But very clever. Do make sure that if you are in the middle of nowhere, do get that marked out properly, or give very specific directions, because you will end up losing guests, and you don't want to do that. The going back to the Hailing Island venue that we went to, they often, and our friends who are in this group as well are in a band, they ended up in a farmer's field, had to be towed out by the local farmer because they'd taken the wrong track off those 3 and ended up going straight into a field and got stuck.
We've done a few like that. There's one near Alsford that's very much like that, through the farm, and you're not quite sure where to go.
Either ribbons, balloons, little wooden signs, little messages going, "You're nearly there." Along every...
Basically, excellence usually comes at a price, and if you've got an excellent venue, the price will be something like you can't find it.
Yeah.
So definitely. Right, I think we should, unless anyone's got a burning question, I think let's wrap up for tonight. Thank you all for watching tonight.
Thank you.
Those of you who have watched live, it would be fab chatting to you. Dawn, if it was the Brimlow wedding at Pinsent Campsite, we were there as well as guests. Emily was pregnant with our second or first? Second child. First?
Second.
They've been married years. Okay. And we thought it was pretty cool.
First.
Thank you.
First.
That's it. I'm jumping out of an aeroplane tomorrow.
If he won't make it either way. If he doesn't,
I'm not here next week.
If he doesn't make it out the plane properly, he won't be making it next week. But he's actually not going to be here until
I'm on
next
holiday.
week.
I'm off on an adventure.
Alan's off to Chamonix for next week.
Yeah, I'm off to trek the Trail de Mont Blanc with some scouts. 7 of us are going out to trek the 100-ish mile, just over 100-mile Trail de Mont Blanc that circumnavigates Mont Blanc, going through 3 countries. We are going to do a mixture of wild camping and sleeping in Alp-based refuges, which I can't say without thinking of the Refugee All-Stars, but which is...
I will be at home
with the 3 kids.
With the 3 kids, and managing a wedding next week.
Yeah, you have. I have left you in quite a busy time.
Job as well, so I'll be busy,
Yes.
and I will be here at 8 o'clock next Wednesday.
Fab. Thank you all for this evening. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and I will see you in... Well, like 3 or 4 weeks.
You're not going to be for 2 weeks straight, are you?
No. Well, it might be. I don't know when I get back. I get back 15. Whatever. I'll be back. So thanks for the thumbs up. Love that. Right. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.